everyone, Letty here. Today we're making 21 cards from this $1 Target Dollar Spot paper pad that I bought, the one that comes with a stencil. I showed it in a previous video. Here's the stencil. I didn't end up using that, but I did use all of the papers and had very little scraps. So it comes with 4 designs. There's a few pages of each. And those are the 4 designs. And then besides the paper, I also used some stamped images just to kind of make this collection stretch a little. I did use those 3 images plus the candy corn from the other one. I got those stamps at Tuesday morning. I believe it was last year. There are my stamped images. So first I'm going to go ahead and do some cutting. I am going to cut at 5 1/4 from the top and then cut at 4 inches, which is again my standard A2 size mat. And then which leaves a couple of additional scraps. So you see here where I'm doing this in mass. And you'll see that I do this pretty much all the time. I like to cut in mass, prepare in mass, and I call this my assembly line cards. That's exactly what I'm doing here today. The only thing is with today's video, I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to use this same kind of cut pattern. So in this instance, I'm going to match up 2 of the full-size card mats, and I'm going to end up cutting them at 3 inches, which creates a 3-inch section and a 2 1/4 inch section. And then I'm going to use 2 of the patterns to put them or to glue them onto one card base to make a final card mat, just like that. And so you see, you just mismatched the bottom of one card to the top of another, mat, and then you can add your embellishments and you're done. I mean, you literally call it a day. So I went ahead and I've gone through and I've pre-cut all of my mats to fit this same kind of situation, and now I'm just kind of gluing everything down. This is a super easy way of just making the background mat just stand out just a little bit more, especially when you have patterns like this that are relatively, you've got like a busy pattern and then you've got like a more solid pattern. It's really nice to kind of just mix and match patterns like this, and so you just add a little bit more, like dimension or whatever, even without having dimension on a card. It just adds a little bit of extra stuff. Okay, so for the second type of card mat, I'm going to use the 2 larger scraps. I'm going to glue them together with a small space in between them to make a new mat for my card. You see this? I'm just mismatching the different patterns, 2 of them on the front with a small little section right in the middle. You don't have to leave the little kind of border or blank section in the middle. I like it because it helps separate the 2 patterns, but you don't have to. You can put them together and just have a little bit of extra border on the sides. But yeah, I'm just putting the 2, matching up the 2, and that makes my final 7 cards for this set, which was 21 total. The initial 14 plus these last 7. So now you see I have this one last little strip of paper left. I'm actually going to add it to the middle section of the first sets of cards that we did. So I'm cutting it down to 4 inches, which is the width of the card mat. And then I'm going to go ahead and just glue it on top of the actual card mat that we have, where we put those other 2 pieces together right there. So here I am just sorting them so I can go ahead and match up my scraps to the specific card mats that I want. You see, I'm trying to use a different pattern than what I already had on the card. This will help, again, just add a little layer of kind of like, flat dimension, if anything. And then I'm just going to go ahead and glue down all of those strips to the cards themselves. And you could have technically added these to the other cards and just cut them down to 5 1/4 and add them to the middle of the other card. But I actually like the way that it looked better on this card to separate it kind of, you know, from top to bottom than the other one. But you can do either one. And I mean, I just happened to run out of scraps. Otherwise, I probably could have just added them to both sets of cards. But you'll see here that we had very little scrap left over from this project, which is, again, my ultimate goal. Whenever I'm using up a paper pad, I don't like putting away scrap. So see, I have this small little piece, and I'm actually going to cut it down to make little banners to put at the tops of the cards. And I'm matching up my banner with the same color or the same pattern of paper that I'm using from the bottom of the card. So I'm just cutting up, and you'll see there's just a very little bit of scrap left, which was what I cut off of the banner. And it's basically, I mean, you could try to use it. I'm not going to use it. I'm going to just go ahead and throw it away. It literally was the last little bit of scraps that I had from this entire section, which was which I just showed you. And that's it. I mean, we had little scraps. We were able to make 21 cards. So all in all, I'd say I'd call this a win, especially because this was a $1 paper pad from Target, which, again, 21 cards from a $1 paper pad, that is amazing. So feel free to, you know, try it the next time you have you see these types of little paper pads. All of the card mats are now finished, so now it's time to just add the embellishments, which is our stamped images and our sentiments that we stamped out. And you don't have to use stamped images. I, again, like using it because it's very cost effective. I can make lots of cards with like one stamp. Basically, it does take some time because you have to color the images, but you could use stickers if you had a pack of stickers. You could use an ephemera pack if you had that. You could even print images from a digital collection. You know, you've got so many options here. Again, with a really good stamp set, which I thought these were really great. They had great pictures. You can, you know, really mass produce cards like this and make as many as you want. So you saw we had, you know, several different variations that I ended up doing. So the sky's the limit on here. If you do want to see close-ups pictures of these cards that I made, please check me out on Instagram. I will show some close-up pictures of these like I normally do. I'm reaching my last few cards, so what I'm doing now is I'm just dividing the stamped images amongst all of the cards because I fear that if I just continue doing one at a time, I may run out. So I want to have it as even as possible. I don't do this at the beginning. You saw that. I actually wait till I get to the very end. Again, you can do it any which way you want. I would just prefer to make sure that I'm using up, again, all of the stamped images that I did if I can, and using up all of that scrap paper. So I kind of try to plan it out a little bit at the end just to make sure I don't have anything left over. And the last step is just to glue everything down. Once I have sort of my pseudo layouts ready to go, I just glue it all down. Again, this process is just super quick, super easy. And the end result is actually really cute. You get some, you know, especially if you have really cute paper, you get really just festive little cute cards that you can use. All of the cards that I did were flat, so they didn't have really a lot of dimension, except for, you know, the additional little layer of the embellishment or whatever, the stamped image. But otherwise, they're really flat. They would mail really great. Again, this was the Target paper pad that I used. Here are all the finished cards. Again, we got 21 cards from the $1 paper pad from Target, which was this one, which I believe is still available. Thanks for visiting, everyone. Please subscribe, like this video, and follow me on Instagram. Thanks. Happy crafting. Bye-bye.